analysis. We did the analysis. So theoretically, we did the analysis by coding for the purpose of our training last week. So, and I said last week that in qualitative, coding is the backbone. Coding the data is the backbone. Sometimes it is possible you have very good data from the feed, but at the point of coding, if you didn't master it very well, you didn't do it very well, or you did not follow the procedure, you may end up even losing the data that you brought from the feed. And we gave hints on how to carry out the analysis. You will recollect that we said in doing analysis, it is better to have a mindset of either deductive as well as inductive. Because in the course of doing the analysis, you may need some existing material. It is not compulsory that you must use existing material. It's not even necessary, particularly when you are doing grounded theory. But if the area you are working on is an area where a lot of scholars have worked on and they have recent material on it, you can borrow some variables, you can borrow ideas, you can borrow themes from the existing work to serve as the framework for your own. So the coding we did last week, we're going to do it now on the software. What you are seeing now is Nvivo software. That's what you are seeing on the screen. When you have it, when you launch it, this is how it's going to be. Through it, you can go online and get to know about the activities of qualitative analysis using Nvivo. You can get to have access to materials on it when you are online. So what we want to do now, to do anything, you have to open a project. If you want to operate on Nvivo, it's like when you open a file for something, another file for another thing. So you need to open a file for your project so that anytime you want to go back to it, you can always get to it wherever you save it. You can always start another one, maybe another project you want to do, another paper, another thesis, another project. You can always open as many as you want to open. So to do anything, the first thing is a new project. You can see, I want to click on the new project. Clicking on the new project, it will bring a dialog box indicating that, oh, this project you want to create, what name do you want to give it? How do you want to save it? Or which name do you want to use to save it? Sorry, my laptop seems to be slow these days. So that's why the thing has not opened. Ordinarily, on click, the thing will open. But when the laptop is slow, definitely it will be rolling and rolling and rolling. So the mere fact that I click new project, it will display what a dialog box asking you to name the project you want to work on. So let's see. We can name our project. We can name it Acrel. Acrel. Today is 4th. Yes, Acrel 4th December training. Yes, we can name it Acrel 4 December training. Then you click OK. Once you click OK, then the project page will open, meaning that you are set to bring in the material you want to use for your analysis. You are set to import or impute the material, just like in SPSS, that we know whenever we want to work on SPSS, we have to bring in our questionnaire. We have to impute our questionnaire into SPSS using abbreviations and number. So same thing for Nvivo. You have to import whatever you want to do into the software. And to import, as we said last week, you can import documents, Microsoft Word document. You can import PDF. You can import video. You can import audio. You can import data sets. That is, the open, if you have open-ended question in your questionnaire, you can bring them to Nvivo for analysis. So all these can be imported into Nvivo.
Yeah.
Please unmute your mic. Galaxy J7 call, please unmute your mic. No, mute your mic, please. Mute it. Thank you.
Done
Thank
that.
you.
You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I said I'm so sorry that the thing is seems to be slow. It started that yesterday. I noticed that yesterday, and I couldn't have done anything about it. So, but I believe the moment we start now, it will continue to be fast. So, what is trying to create now is the project file that we open for April 4th December 2022 project or training. So the most important thing is it's okay, it's opening now. The moment it's open, then it expects us to begin to do whatever we want to do. Now you can see it has opened, and it is expecting that we bring in the material we need to use for the work. We can't work without bringing in the material. And what are the material we're talking about? The material that you transcribe, the interview you carried out, which you transcribe. And we said last week that when you are transcribing, you make sure you save per individual that you interview. You don't lump everything together. The moment you finish transcribing one, you save it with the ID code, the identity you want to use for that people, for the people you interview. You save them one by one, meaning that for the first person you interview, you save it, whichever you can name it informant one. You can name it whatever name you want to use, T1, depending on whichever way. The identity, full identity cannot be disclosed. So when you do that, now the Nvivo is expecting us to bring in the material for we to do our analysis. When you look at the interface here, we have sources, and that is all the material we are bringing in. We have node. Node is where we are keeping whatever we are coding. Node is like a basket where you have different baskets and you'll be dropping your coding as related. You can see that last week when we did the coding, we colored the coding as a way of separating them, and we were doing the coding by the right hand side of the text. So in this case, the coding will be dropped in the notes. We have classification. Classification is wherever there is a need for you to do demographics analysis of your informant. Classification is meant for that. Then all the analysis you are doing will be saved in the collections. Then we have model. Model is where you will do the graphical representation of your analysis that will show that just as we do in SPSS, SPSS can give us the graph, can give us pie chart, can give us table. So Nvivo also can provide all this, which are not possible when you do it traditionally. So all that we try to do as much as possible today. Now, the next thing is to bring in the material you want to use. And anytime you want to do anything on Nvivo, just right click. By right clicking on the place, it will bring dialog box. All I did here is right click. Once you right click, it will bring it. And once it brings it, then you now do whatever you want to do. In the case of new internal, that is when you already have some material you want to add more. That is where you can go to new internal. Import is the place to go if you are just starting afresh, as we want to do today. Import meaning that the document you want to use, bring them in. If it is document, import document, that is the one you transcribe in Microsoft you want to bring in. If it is PDF, if you have, we said Nvivo can be used for literature review as well. And we know that most of the material for literature review come in PDF. So if the document you want to use is PDF, you can bring them in. If it is audio, if it is video, picture, data set, then referencing material can be brought into Nvivo too. End capture, end notes, all these Mendeley, all the ref work, all these are referencing material. If you want to bring them, if you want to bring in something from them, it is allowed. Export is whatever you have done. If you want to export them out of the software, maybe you have done everything you want to do now. Now the analysis, you want to export them out for you to finish the reporting. Then you just go to export, you click export list, and to save them wherever you want them to save. And if it is printing direct from Nvivo, you can print also directly from Nvivo. But for the purpose of our training, we are going to import documents. Once we click import documents, it means we want to import the material we have transcribed, we want to use for analysis. So just as we normally do, we browse for it. That means we want the software to take us to where we keep those material. So once you click browse, it will take you to your desktop or laptop, and particularly where you have those material. You must know where you save them. So in my own case, let me go to a recent one I used. Okay, as a December, I use some. Okay, let's go to, okay, my October, I think I have, okay. These are the interview transcribed, and they are transcribed and name saved with the identity of the person. We can bring them in one by one. We can as well bring all of them in. I have this, just this, how many? I have this 3, 4, 5, 8. I have 8 interviews just for the purpose of our training. You know, when you carry out an interview where your sample are up to, let's say, 20, you're going to have as many as 20 here. If they're up to 40, they are going to be here as many as 40. But for the purpose of this training, I only brought 8. So we want to work on these 8. Having highlighted them, checked them, the next thing is I click open. Once I click open, it means I want it to open for me to use. So I've opened it, then I'll click OK. Once I click OK, then the material will come in for my use, and we can continue doing our analysis. The material are coming in, being imputed into the Nvivo software, as well as coming in, importing them into the Nvivo for our use. So once we have it in, we will see it. Once the software, once the material are in, all of them will be listed out as depending on the number you are bringing in. Don't forget, I'm bringing in 8 of the interview carried out. It is the same sample of interview we used last week to demonstrate that I'm bringing in. So they are loading, and the moment they load, the next thing is to create notes. When we say note, I run an interface about that last week. Okay, all the interview are in now. So the best thing is to run a query on them. Double click to be sure that what you brought in are actually what you needed to bring in. So you can double click on any of them, at least to confirm whether what you needed is what you are bringing in. So sorry about the slow nature of my laptop today. So it's coming in. Okay, so I've tried to open it so that we confirm that truly we have brought in what we needed to bring in before we continue, just to see that yes, my what I wanted is what I brought in. So we can see I brought just 2 questions from for all the 8 interview carried out. These are what we're going to be analyzing. So we can say now that, oh, good, we have the material we need. Now, after this, the next thing, and you will recollect that last week we said you can, the analysis can be deductive as well as inductive. If it is deductive, it means we are taking ideas from existing work, especially if the work is reliable and is relevant, we can borrow from it. But mostly, you have to combine inductive as well, because what you brought from the field are not existing. You collected it fresh. That's why it is primary data collection. So that will be where you will get the answer to your questions. But the framework for which you want to do your analysis, you have to create it. And that is team, sub-team, and the sub-team. The theme, we said, can be the question, can be the research question we set out to work on, can be the theme. So just like we have it last week, we can say our theme is our team one is a newspaper. We can say it's newspaper role. Just as we did last week, we can say, okay, our team one is a newspaper role in conflict. And even if you feel that, no, let's make it complete, we can complete it. Newspaper role in conflict. Then after the theme, we need sub-theme. Okay, I want to add to this so that it will be meaningful. It won't just be newspaper role. I want it to be newspaper role in conflict. Newspaper role in conflict. I don't know why my screen sharing stopped. Okay, newspaper role in conflict. Where's one? Where's my, is something closed? Why did it close? Let me reopen, please. The software closed. Maybe I didn't wait for the process to complete before opening it. I'm trying to share the screen back now. It went off. So please let me share it back. It is coming up. So pending when it comes up, what we want to do now is to create the node. And in creating node, we can start by deductive, meaning that we can start by borrowing idea from our research question, which has to do with a newspaper role in conflicts. The other question is a solution to ethnic conflict in Nigeria. So we can shorten it to solution to ethnic conflicts. I don't know why. You can see my screen. Okay, let me share. Okay, the screen is okay. Okay, the software is loading now. Okay, okay, it has loaded. Now, what I want to do now is while that one was coming slowly, I opened another one that I recently worked on as early as yesterday. So to do our demonstration, but to do our own, I want to open another page. This was the one I used for training yesterday. So I want to open another page. Something like this is what we want to do, but I want to open another page for our own. Or I delete this one so that our own can come. Sorry, I don't know why it was this slow this week. Started yesterday. I'm trying to create a fresh. It is closed again. Where is it? Definitely. Okay. Okay, I'm bringing it back now. Sorry. So now we'll. Sorry for the intermittent disruption. I hope you can see the. I hope the something is showing now on my screen. Is it showing?
Yes,
it is.
It's showing. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I said the first thing is to create the node. We go to the node. We have brought in, but what we brought in I've not saved. Okay, let's bring in, let's import again, because it didn't save before it closed the other time. So we're going back to it. Where is it? It didn't save before it closed. Okay. Okay, I have it here. Interview. Okay, I want to bring them in. Okay, then I'll click. All I need to do now is to click OK, open. Once I click open, okay, okay, so it will come in just as we did it the other time. I'm re-importing. Okay, I've imported the software in the material we want to use in. Now we want to create the node for our analysis. We said we'll create new node, and we said newspaper role in conflicts. That's our first research question, which we want to get the answer for. So I said we can convert our research question to team. So we can just say team 1. So we can call it team 1. That's our research question. Then the second research question can be team 2. And that's our second research question was exactly the one like the one we used last time. We can say that our second team, which is from research question 2, can be possible solution to ethnic conflicts. Okay. You can see now we have created, and from the note we have for team 1 and team 2, there is a need for sub-team. The sub-team can come from the question you have taken to the feed. Doing this, you are creating a thematic analysis. The theme is the question, the research question you have, or the objective, while the sub-theme can be the question you have taken to the feed. The sub will now come from the data, the raw data you have collected, which you have imported into the software. And that can only come when you are doing the coding. The second way of doing it is when you do it deductively. Maybe you felt that, okay, let's create the sub-team for this first. We can create a sub-team for team 1. We can say, okay, sub-team 1, sensational reporting is one of the ways. Okay, maybe it's one of the ways newspaper contributes to conflict. You can see I've created sub-team 1. We can create, let's create sub-team, one sub-team for this also. We can borrow, we can take it from our research question we have taken to the feed. So we can say professionalism in newspaper framing. That can be our sub-team for, okay, for the second team. We have created a sub-team here. We have created another sub-team. See, this is deductively because I'm picking it from a existing document. That's what makes it a deductive coding or deductive analysis. Are you getting it? It's a deductive coding or deductive analysis. So we can as well create another one if we think that okay, let's create another sub-theme, conflict of interest, just similar to what we did last time. Okay, another sub-theme. The sub-theme we are creating here is a conflict of interest. It's another way through which newspaper contribute to conflict, or through which newspaper instigate conflict. Now, let's give this one also one. One sub-theme for the solution. Let's create it, new node. Always right click, and whatever you want to do, it will come up. Okay. We have created two sub-themes for him, can be taken from, but by the time you start the coding, you may discover that more sub-theme will generate will be generated from the data you're analyzing. And that is what grounded theory is canvassing for. That when you want to do grounded theory, don't bring it from outside. Make sure you generate everything from the data you brought from the feed. So now in our own case now, we have created sub-team, two each for each of the team. Now, we now say, okay, let's say we want to deal with team one first. What do we have here? Sensational reporting. If we feel that we have something from a system material that really makes sense and relevant to what you want to do, we can borrow ideas from a system material. Maybe how do they go sensational? How do newspaper go sensational? Maybe by exaggeration. We can borrow. Okay, I brought exaggeration now, which is where the real coding will be done. The codings, that's the answer to this, is what we're now going to be bringing from the raw data. This is the team, yes, our objective or research question. This is the sub team. This is like, this can come from the question we have taken to the feed. Maybe we've asked them, in what way do you think newspaper have been sensational in the reporting of conflicts? Maybe that was the question we asked them at the feed. So we now expect answer to these questions, but the answer must be pinned to sub team. So you can see they are in 3 stages now. Team, even if you look at the indenting, you can see that one is more indented than the other. Look at the team. This is a team. Beneath it is a sub team, and beneath this one is also sub team. So meaning that this is the findings we are bringing from the feed that explain sensational reporting. Sensational reporting is answering the role newspaper play in conflict. So doing this, the way I've done it, is like deductive now. It's like I brought it out from a system. I just copy and paste it for my use. But in the course of our analysis, we discovered that more sub team will be generated that are very, very natural from the feed, unlike the one we got deductively. Now I created one sub team for this one also. So having done this, let's now go for inductive analysis. And to begin with, the data we brought in the other time, we have to open them because that is where we want to do the analysis. I open one. Okay, let's open another one. You open them, that is where the coding will be done. Just as we did it last week traditionally. Okay, I've opened another one now. Okay, let's just stop at this 4. Let's assume we have opened all our data we brought from the feed. Now the note. We have the note by the left-hand side. We have the interview by the right-hand side. Now you begin the coding. We've already gotten the note, just like the basket where I want to be dropping whatever we have found that are relevant to what we have created here. Now, to do that, we remember last week said in doing coding, the best thing is to take question at a time. Though if the data, the numbers are not many, or if you have mastered what you have done, there's nothing stopping you from completing one informal before you go to another. Take question 1, take question 2. But the best thing is do question 1. When you are done with question 1 for informant 1, go to informant 2. Do his own question 1 also. Go to this one, do his own question 1. Then when you are done, you now come back again and begin to do question 2. So we said all that last week. It's one of the best way of doing analysis, so that by the time you are done with all question 1, by the time you do first question in the first person, first question the second person, by the time you get to fourth, third and fourth, you will have mastered it. You will almost have mastered everything you have, and easily you find the answer easily. So now let's begin the coding. The coding requires reading, and the reading is forth and back reading. You have to read and reread because you need to understand what the person you interview is saying. And we said again last week that sometimes when you're trying to get answer from the interview you've conducted, you may discover that some of the informants may not talk explicitly, that you can easily find the answer you are looking for. It may be latent, it may be hidden, it may not be obvious. And we said that last week that so the two approaches must be understood. That you have gone through what he said and you think he has not said anything meaningful, anything useful. You may not conclude, you may have to interpret properly. And that's why qualitative researcher is referred to as a interpretivist, while quantitative are positivists. So you are the one to interpret what the people are saying. You are the one to know whether what he's saying is meaningful or not. If having gone through it several times and you still discover that no, it's not saying anything meaningful, you can skip and continue. But don't just scan through first that it is not meaningful. Some will say something meaningful, but it may not be clearly obvious. That's explicit analysis and content analysis. Always emphasize that so that relevant data will not be lost to conclusion that what he said is not meaningful. So now, remember we're on question 1. We are not yet. That's why I close team 2 here. I close it because we want to deal with for 1 first. And we already created exaggeration, ethnic interest as the sub team. So it's our own now to look for answers here that fit exaggeration and drop it inside. Answer that fit ethnic interest, or a new answer that we have to create based on what we discover from our data. So now let's read. This person said, the person identity is informer F1. This study is about ethnic groups leaders involvement in conflict. Ethnic groups leader involvement in conflict. Maybe involvement as a result of instigation they got from media, particularly newspaper.
Interfering to what you're saying.
Yes, please let that person mute his yes, thank you. I think she has done that. Okay, now last week we said, okay, we read. Whenever you come across something new that you have not created, you create it. Now let's read. As I've said earlier, this person is coded informer F1. He's a Fulani man. We interview
Dr. Razak, please unmute yourself.
I don't know who muted me. Okay, thank you. I've done that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So now we want to read whatever identity you use to code them. That is what will appear in whatever output you want to get from the software. That's the identity that will appear. So meaning that whenever you want to save your transcribed document, saved with the identity you want to appear in your analysis. So this informant F1, meaning Fulani 1, that's the identity that will appear in all the analysis we carry out. This one is informant H3, that's Hausa. So we also have Y Yoruba. Maybe I have to bring that up also so that we won't be biased by not bringing up any other. Okay, let me bring IB now. IB is Igbo, sure. Then I have Y7, that's Yoruba. Y8, that's another Yoruba. And IB6, that's another Igbo. Okay, I've eventually opened all of them. Now, so now to begin the coding, you will read. Okay, let's read. As I have said earlier, Nigerian newspapers are not balanced. They are ethnically biased. When you look at these statements, you find them relevant. Why is the statement relevant? Because the question you want to find the answer for is what role newspaper play in conflict behavior. Now this person is saying Nigerian newspapers are not balanced. They are ethnically biased, meaning that this act of newspaper is one of the ways that anger other people. It's one of the ways they create hatred in the minds of others. So meaning that this is one of the ways, this is one of the uh, questions begging for answer as far as our research is concerned. So now he said newspapers are not balanced. This statement does not fit exaggeration and does not fit ethnic conflict, meaning that we have to create a sub team for this statement. And this creation that we want to do now is exactly what we refer to as a inductive analysis. Inductive analysis. So the word is said that newspapers are not balanced, meaning that they are biased. I think, can we say they are biased is what he's saying? Can we say it is it?
Yes, they are biased.
Yes, that's what it means. Bias, not balance. We have created that. Newspaper are biased. So we simply pick this. You press the mouse. I've pressed the mouse now. That is a left click the mouse. I won't raise my hand. I'm still holding it. You can see the square beneath the cursor blinking. That means you have carried something which you want to quote. So meaning that I've carried what I want to code now, and I will drag it to where it's supposed to be. Then when I get there, I will raise my hand and the thing will drop. Once it drop, it will leave the place, meaning that I have coded this statement to where it belongs. Now it's saying something again. Newspaper, don't mind that we have balancing between this, not balancing between this, but what we have here is ethnically biased. So for the word ethnically biased, we can see that we've already coded one, ethnic interest. They are ethnically biased because they have ethnic interest in mind, meaning that that statement also worth coding. You highlight it. Once you highlight it, you press, you left click the mouse, then you drag it. You don't raise your hand and drop it where it belongs, where you think it fits. I've dropped it now, ethnically biased. So I've dropped it there. Now then you continue to read. It is very easy for someone to know where a newspaper belongs and whose interest a newspaper is serving. Look at that statement. If you feel the statement is relevant and there is a place to code it, then you take it there. If it is relevant and there is nowhere to code it, then you create the code inductively again. Because this is from the field. Don't forget at the beginning of last week's lecture, I showed picture of Pastor Ade Farasin who looked like a Muslim, a stereotype. So we can even say bias. We can take it to bias also, because you can easily know where a newspaper belongs. Means that you can see the way they write, the way the news they carry. You can see element of somebody's serving somebody's interest, or serving a particular ethnic interest, or serving a particular religious interest. So then we can say bias. It can mean bias if we think it fits into bias, because you as the researcher, you are the one to determine all this. The software will not determine for you. The software will only help you organize, manage, as well as create whatever you want to create. Just like in SPSS too. You cannot run anything on SPSS unless you instruct SPSS by saying, okay, I want to analyze. What do I want to do? Regression, ANOVA. So it's your responsibility to select. So in this case too, if we feel this statement is relevant and we feel it goes to bias, we drop it in bias. And if it think it doesn't fit bias, it means something else, then we can create that thing. So you're at liberty to do that. Now, maybe that explains why many of our politicians struggle to establish an own newspaper. Look at it. It's saying something here again. The statement may be latent, not obvious. What is really directing at is not obvious. But you as the researcher, you can give it meaning. Because indirectly, going by what we are where we are coming from, is talking about how newspaper are usually biased, how we get to know the interest of newspaper from what they write. So you're now saying maybe that explains why many of our politicians struggle to establish newspaper. We can say, can this be ownership interest? They have interest, they are creating newspaper, they are owning newspaper because of their own interest. So if you think it fits that, then we create, and it goes under conflict of interest now. So we can say ownership interest is also one of the albatross of a newspaper, right? Isn't it? Hello, can we go for ownership interest?
Yes,
Or what do
we
you
can
think?
go for
Or what do you think? Yes, I don't want to be
interest of
completely.
ownership interest. Yes, ownership interest is very correct. Hello, Dr. Razak. Dr. Razak. Dr. Razak. Oh, he's no longer online. Should be joining back anytime soon. Let me see to that. Apologies to our audience. Let me quickly see to that. Okay, yeah, he's right back online. Dr. Razak.
This thing moving and moving. Sorry. Yes, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. Okay. So we can from what we have seen here again, we can say they
Somebody saying
use
personal
newspaper to
interest.
promote their ethnic. Hello.
Somebody saying personal
Okay.
interest.
Okay. Somebody is saying personal interest. Okay. Personal interest, ownership interest. Can it mean the same thing? I think they are the
Ownership.
same.
Yeah,
Somebody who
ownership
owns
interest.
newspaper is the owner. But I think
Interest.
ownership interest is more concrete than personal interest. Yes. Even the editor can have personal interest, but he's not the owner. But he can have
Exactly.
personal interest. But the owner has ownership interest. So now, looking at the next statement, they use newspaper to promote their ethnic and political interest. Something meaningful is coming from here too. That means we can see ethnic interest here too. And we already have ethnic interest here. We drop it. Then something new is coming up now, political interest, isn't it? So meaning that they use it for political interest. And since we don't have it here, we create it. That is inductive again. Inductive. We are inductively creating it and doing the analysis. So we now take it there. Don't mind that we have ethnic in between this statement, but what you need to use is political interest. So drag it and take it to political interest. You can see that as we are doing it, we are creating more codes deductively, sorry, inductively, because that is the real data you brought from the feed. The newspaper that we, the Fulani, believe that serve our interest is a Daily Trust. Yes, it says something very strong here, but I don't think it shows that there is a interest in all the newspaper. By saying this, it's even castigating Daily Trust also as having ethnic interest also. So it goes to ethnic interest. We take it and drop it. Now we are done with question 1. Let's go to 2 quickly. Yes, second person is Fulani to know. Let's go to 1 Hausa. Okay. Number 3 is Hausa. We said, newspaper, especially those one based in Lagos, have made it known that Hausa should not rule Nigeria in 2015. I think this research was conducted close to 2015 election at the tension of Jonathan Buhari election. So he said, newspaper, especially those one based in Lagos, have made it known that Hausa should not rule Nigeria in 2015. But the poor performance of the current president has boxed them to a corner. Therefore, they don't have alternative. I don't think this statement is relevant to us. And when you look at the statement, something we can learn from. The other time when we were talking about reliability. How do we ensure reliability in qualitative? One of the strategy is that we should ensure we vary our sources. We shouldn't just limit ourselves to a particular group of sources. If not, we'll be misled. When you look at the Fulani we just analyzed and the Hausa we're looking at, you can see they seem to be castigating the Southwest, seem to be castigating some media that are based in the Southwest. So it means that and luckily, we balance it. We have Igbo, we have Hausa, we even have Ijo and something. So, meaning that all the major ethnic groups were captured in order to be able to establish credibility for the study. So, it wasn't the opinion of one group. So, to me, this statement is not relevant to what we are looking for. Let's read further. I will expressly blame the media, mostly newspaper, for the ethnic conflict we experienced after 2011 election and all the pockets of conflict we are experiencing in Jos, Benue, Kaduna, and Nasarawa. So, looking at this statement, do we have anything meaningful here? I will blame the media, mostly newspaper, for the ethnic conflict we experience. Where can we tag this? Or what can we, where can we drop this? What code do you think is relevant? If you think it is not relevant, then skip it and move on. Because why I think it is not relevant is because the main focus of this work, that's the big idea of this work, is to know how newspaper contributes to conflict we experience in Nigeria. So it is obvious, and it's telling us the obvious. We know this. What we want to know is how they contribute, and that's one of the uniqueness of qualitative. It can bring how, why, and every other thing important to an issue, which we refer to as coming up with explanatory material to quantitative. So if we think that is not relevant, when we move on, newspaper castigate the northerner as troublemaker everywhere. Okay, in just for example, it is common to read on the pages of newspaper that northerner are the settler, they are the transgressor. Okay, if we think is accusing newspaper now and is giving us the answer we want, how is newspaper contributing to conflict? And it's saying labeling, or is it the word he used? He said, okay, castigate the northerner. That means tagging them a particular name which they don't like. So we can refer to that as name calling. And we know name calling is part of the characteristics of the media. Why some people will say no, it's part of the way newspaper contribute to conflict. When you say Boko Haram, yes, they are Boko Haram, but don't say they are Islamic sect. Some will say it's a name calling them Islamic sect. Remove the religion from it. Though they call themselves Muslim, but the fact that what they do is not even in tune with the religion they profess, and more so, they have their name, call them their name, Boko Haram. Don't tag them to religion. Doing that is name calling. So what he said here, it's similar to saying name calling. And that's why we created it, name calling or labeling, what we now refer to as a speech. A speech is a new, not a new language, not a new concept, but a language that just come to our reference in Nigeria. So name calling has been for long. So we can say name calling. And we can as well call it a speech, which is even more stronger than name calling, because he said they castigate them as a settler, as transgressor, as a maybe usurper, something like that. So let's go to another one. This time around, we are jumping to IB5, that's Igbo. This person is a Southeasterner that was interviewed. Now let's go, still on question one. I think I've rightly explained it earlier on. Yes, this was an abridged interview brought for our training purpose only. I can say that Nigerian newspaper need to be a little bit more professional and balanced in their coverage, especially during political campaign. Can we say it's telling us how newspaper, his own perception on the way newspaper contributes to conflict, or can we say it's bringing solution, which is the question two, possible solution that can bring about peace, that can make newspaper to do their work professionally. So I can say that Nigerian newspaper need to be. It's more of a suggestion solution. So if we come across a statement that we think belongs to another place, we take it to where it belongs. We don't say because we found the statement in question 1 and it fits question 2, we now drop it. No, we have to take it to where it belongs. As long as it is the same research, balance as well as need to be balanced and professional. So meaning that this statement, balance and professional and balance, we can code it under where okay, professionalism in newspaper. We have not given make sure you click on what is coming up now is a time reminder, save reminder. Every 15 minutes, Nvivo will bring up a save reminder. So I've clicked OK and it has saved. So anytime you want to create something, you must click on that thing. If you want to create it under this, you must click it on it. If it's going to be on, you have to create it on a team. If you want to create a sub, you have to create it on sub team. If you want to create a team, you have to create it on a plain ground like this. You right click on a plain ground. Whatever you create here, it's a team. Well, clicking on this, you are creating a sub team. So what you want to do now is a sub team, which we discover when we're reading now. So, and this is where it fits, where it belongs. Professionalism in newspaper framing. To be balanced is part of being professional. To be, okay, new note. So we are creating it. I pick it straight away from there because it fits professional and balance. Okay, I've created it now under professionalism in newspaper framing, professional and balance. Or we can say professionalism and balance. It can as well be changed. Anytime you want to correct anything, just click it. Once you click it, then it will leave a room for you to delete or create. So you can always do amendment anytime, any day. So now the statement that we saw that gave us the idea of the need to create another code is this. I can say, okay, and it is in solution, not in our question 1. So we take it to where it belongs. Okay, you can see. I can say that Nigerian newspaper need to be a little bit more professional and balanced in their coverage, especially during political campaign. So we felt this is more of a suggestion towards solution, and we are bringing it here. Okay, you can close it. Anytime we need it again, we can always open. So sometimes if you have, let's say your research has 5 research questions, meaning that you're going to have 5 teams. Then if you have about 20, 15 informants, definitely it won't be as small as this. It may be running to 2-3 pages of this node box. So because we are just limiting ourselves to 2 questions and few informants, that's why we have it this short. If not, it will be lengthy. So when it is lengthy, you can always close the one you don't need. Then it will reduce the number of things that that are opened. So we have coded it. We have taken it to where it belongs, right? And we close it. Okay, we're now going on. We're still on 1. Though compared to the previous, Nigerian newspapers are better off now, but there's a need for improvement. Okay, one reason for this unprofessional attitude of newspaper and other media is because almost all of them are owned by politicians who use them to protect their political and economic interests only. This is a powerful statement. If you look at it, one reason for this unprofessional attitude of newspaper and other media is because almost all of them are owned by politicians who use them to protect their political and economic interests. Already we have created political interest. So simply we just take it there and drop. But he said economic interest also, meaning that we are seeing another sub-theme that we need to quote inductively. Now, another interest. We have political interest, already ownership interest, ethnic interest. So political interest, no, economic interest is coming in also. So we have to create it, meaning that they do some of the things they do just because they want to sell, and we know it is a reality. Yes, we can pick it also from here and drop it under economic interest, which we created inductively. We didn't bring any of this from anywhere, but we saw it from our data. Even in advanced countries like US and UK, private and sole ownership of newspaper are being questioned since the Murdoch phone tapping incident with the New World Times. What an individual, what an individual uses it for is his or a personal, political, or economic interest, not minding the general social interest. Well, I don't see anything. Was just giving an explanation and making a allusion to New York Times owned by one of the 7 people that control the media in the world, Murdoch. So we are moving on. So I see this newspaper as part of the ethnic, political, and religious conflict we experience in Nigeria. I see this newspaper as part of ethnic, political. I see them as part of. Does that mean it's saying they are contributing to this? If we see that way, then we can code it. But if you did not see that way, we may leave it out. But for the purpose of our training, let's let's pick let's pick it and drop it. Ethnic, okay, we can say part of ethnic conflict because of ethnic. If you say ethnic interest, if we think it fits, we drop it. But if we think it does not fit, then we leave it out. Then religious interest or religious conflict, let's leave it out and move on. But it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Some of us that know about happenings in the world, we recognize that American newspapers are equally guilty of US war in Iraq and others. They push the public to accept the need to fight the war. Similarly in Nigeria, where newspapers set agenda of something to the public, they change people's behavior through what they push to us. They manipulate people. Wow. Manipulate people's mind and make them see and believe what the newspaper want to. Even left to me, I don't like the way newspaper refer to Boko Haram group as Islamic militant. Oh, this is what I just said, as Islamic militant. It is a kind of bias against Muslim. Why not call them or refer to them in their name instead of that? Okay, this person is saying something meaningful. They push public to accept the need to fight war. Similar thing in Nigeria, newspapers set agenda on something. They change people's behavior through what they push to us. They manipulate people's minds. I think the word manipulation can come as one of the ways they contribute to conflict, because everything is said there, which I highlighted, has to do with the way newspaper manipulate us, our mindsets, to believe that somebody is our enemy, to believe that somebody should be uh, dealt with, or somebody will be sent packing out of our community. So we can say, yes, it fits, and newspaper manipulates. I think manipulates. Oh, sorry. The newspaper manipulates. We can say manipulate minds. Let's put it that way. I've created it also. That is an inductive coding. I'll take it. Now I press it. Left clicking now. I'm taking it to where I belong, manipulating minds, and I've dropped it there. So if you feel, no, this is not proper, you can always correct it anytime. Even left to me, I don't like the way, okay, I think this has to do with name calling. We refer to the other time, name calling, which we created. Okay, we can quickly drag it and drop it under name calling. It justify it. Okay, now let's pick one Yoruba. Okay, we have him. Newspaper can be identified as influence of motives and attitudes that precede conflicts. Newspaper can be identified as influence of motives and attitude that precede conflict. You can see this is not an explicit statement. You have to give it a meaning before you can see the relevance in that statement. Because it's not saying newspaper contribute to conflict by manipulating our mind, by tagging some people, giving them bad name, by exaggerating. No, it's not saying it obviously. So this is the kind of latent statement we talked about. So it is you, the researcher, that will try to understand what it's saying and put it where it belongs. Newspaper can be identified as influence of motive. Can we say manipulate? I think it fits into the manipulation we just created. Then we drop it. I've dropped it in manipulation because influence motives and attitudes is manipulation too. So they deliberately do this because of their interest in promoting some ethnic groups. Look at it. Clear statement here. Clear statement. They do the manipulation because of what? Ethnic interest. I think that is clear too. They will take it to ethnic interest. I'm holding it, then I raise my hand. It is dropped. Okay, now let us know we are done with all the interview. Question 1. Now let's quickly go to question 2 because of time. Newspaper, we have peace. The moment we stop, we are looking for solution now. Let me open them. Newspaper, we have peace. The moment we stop being selfish, also there should be equal representation. Newspaper should always balance their story by being fair to all ethnic groups. I think something is coming out here that what's coding. There should be equal representation. I think equal representation is okay, professional and balanced. I don't think it's referring to newspaper. And we only have government regulation. Can this go? Is it a suggestion for government? Equal representation. And it didn't go to, it can go to regulation. You can say government need to regulate the way things are shared or the way political offices are shared. It should always be balanced, but we don't have a sub thing for it, so we can create it. Part of the things government should regulate is to make sure there is an equal representation. When people are well represented, nobody will feel aggrieved. Then there should be equal representation. We can just code it as short as it is. We'll put it there. But if you feel it does not fit government regulation, we can create a sub. So we can now have sub 1, sub 2, and sub 3. Sub team 1, sub team 2, and sub team 3. If you think this equal representation does not fit government regulation, but if it fits, you leave it. Newspaper should always balance their story by being fair to all ethnic groups. I think something meaningful is coming from this one also. Balance and fair to all ethnic groups. So where do we have that? Newspaper role, okay, no, we're here. Yes, professional and balance. I think this is okay. It can go under this. Professional and balance. That's his own suggestion. That's his own solution. So number 2 now, informal 2, question 2. There will be solution if government can be fair to all. If the government can equally consider other ethnic group in the distribution of resources. I think this one goes to equal representation also. Then we drop it too. Then politically, government should recognize the Fulani too. Okay, he's speaking for his people because we gave him the audience, just as other ethnic group will speak. It's still equal representation. I can still take it and drop. So you can see now that from this person alone, I've taken 2 things, 2 statements from this. If there will be a solution, if government can equally consider other ethnic group in distribution of resources. I equally saw this, then I put it. So meaning that at different times, I didn't pick them together like this as one quote. I picked them separately. So meaning that I've taken 2 statements from this person alone. So by the time we finish the coding and I showed you, you will see what I'm saying, how it will display it. As for newspaper, they should be, now it's not talking about newspaper. They should be balanced in their story. They should investigate very well before accusing Fulani and another minority ethnic group of any negative incident. So it's talking about balance, I think. They should investigate. To investigate means they should be professional, because part of professionalism is to investigate before they write, instead of writing rumor. So I've dropped it. Now, one Hausa, okay, we have on so many occasions, called on government and elite to remove their unfair attitude politically, economically, and socially that irritate other ethnic groups. Resources should be appropriately distributed. I think it's talking about equal representation, or maybe this equal representation may not fit into resources. It won't fit into resources. So we can create, if you think, no, this cannot go, so you should go to resources. Resources, okay, let me save. You can say resources equally, okay, or equal distribution of resources. You can just say, just for the purpose of time, equally. Yes, let's just put it that way. You understand what I mean? Resources equally. That's what it's saying here. So we just drag it and drop it here. Because what it's saying here does not fit equal representation. Representation is different from resources. Representation has to do with political, though he mentioned political too. Maybe we should take it to equal representation also, because he mentioned political, economic, and okay, government should remove the unfairity politically. So economically is resources. Resources should be appropriately distributed. That's resources. So it fits into both resources and equal representation. So we have coded it. The white paper of the ongoing constitutional conference should be implemented alongside previous ones. Appropriate, if you think this is relevant, we can create it. Maybe government actions. Appropriate boundary of closely knitted ethnic groups should be identified and gazetted. So maybe we may think it's saying something cogent again that is relevant. So we can say land gazetted or land gazetting, or whichever way. Let's just put it like that. It's saying that one of the things that lead to conflict is this problem of land. So it's now offering its own solution too. So I'm taking it and I'm dropping it. Newspaper should be mindful of what they report about ethnic issues. This statement is also relevant. Where can we take it to? We take it to professional and balance. Newspaper should be mindful of what they report. So it's a balance is calling for. Now let's go to this Hausa. Okay, let's go to the Igbo. Question 2 of the Igbo. As far as I know, to have a better relationship, the leader of this ethnic group must be mindful of what they say, because it has a lot of impact on members on the society. Ethnic groups leaders should be mindful of what they say, because it has impact. I think that statement is important because the study is ethnic conflict. So meaning that ethnic leader should be, what do we call it? Ethnic leader maybe should be fair. Ordinarily, that it's not always good to create long words, so it will clutter it and it won't appear well. Or control. Let's put it that way. We can always change it anytime we think we have a better word. So all we need to do is pick it. Is talking to ethnic leaders. Ethnic leaders control. Okay, I've dropped it. Also, on the part of government, the areas where resources that the nation depend on are got should be adequately taken care of. It's saying that the places where resources are gotten should be taken care of. The neglect of this area is a problem for some ethnic groups and eventually frustration that lead to conflicts. Most of the Southeast and Niger data are neglected, and as such, the ethnic group they are suffering from road network, potable water. I think it's calling for resources, equal resources equally. When we say resources equally, it does not mean everybody should be given 10, 10, 10, 10. The 13% derivation, I think, is part of a equal distribution. Based on what you deserve, they give you. The places where the resources are gotten are given extra billions every month, which Buhari asks Nigeria to ask the governors how they have been spending the billion they gave them. So what this guy is saying is that they should be given recognition. Maybe they are calling for 20% derivation every month now. So we have coded it. It has to do with resources. So let's rush and finish up. Also, some ethnic group in Nigeria believe in to rule Nigeria is their birthright. Okay, this cannot be palatable with other ethnic groups. They too want to rule. So I think this has to do with equal representation. So we can quickly take it to equal representation. It should not be one place that will be ruling. The idea of political office rotation. Okay, we have seen something relevant. Because of time, we may leave. But if you see something relevant again, even if you have coded something about that, you can still take it and drop it there. It doesn't matter. So finally, let's look at this one. Both media and leaders of ethnic group should be mindful of what they publish and what they say. So I think both media and leaders, this has to do with being professional. The government should be fair to all in the distribution of amenity. I think this fit to resources equally. So let me close. Let's assume we have finished the coding. You can have as many as 20 people. You'll be coding them one by one. You can be opening them, maybe 5, 5, 10, 10. Then when you finish the first 10, you close and you open another one from your from here. After opening the first maybe 10, then when you are done with that, you close. Then you go to the next 10. You finish them, you close to the next 10. That's how we do it. Now let's see. You can see we have done some codings. Okay, let's open for us to see. These are the recordings of the codings we have done. You can see that. Okay, let's start from team 1. Okay, these are team 1. We coded this name calling. We have 2 sources, meaning that we got coded codes from 2 sources, and the reference here is also 2 sources, meaning that 2 sources, 2 statements, 1 each from each of them. That's why it is 2, 2. Manipulation of minds, 2, 2 also. Exaggeration. You will recollect that we did this deductively. We brought it before you even open the interview, and you can see there was nothing for it, meaning that it is not relevant. So that's why at times when you bring something from outside, theory, literature, it may not be relevant to what you are bringing from the feed. That's why they always say, depend largely on what you are bringing from the feed and not what a scholar had written or what a theory says. So this, anything that is not relevant after finish the coding, you delete and let it go because it is 0. So having 0 means it is not relevant. Bias 1. Okay, why is it? We have 1 here, we have 2 here, meaning that for bias we have 1. For bias we have can we see we have 1 source, meaning that we got what we coded here, we got it from just 1 source. Just 1 source. Okay, somebody is raising the table. Tebo is raising hand. Yes, you will mute now and talk. 1 and 2. We have 2 here because from this same person, we have coded 2 statements from him at different time. We didn't code them together. The other one I was explaining the other time, that when you highlight from one person, you drop it. And when you read down again, you saw something relevant again, you can as well do and code. That's a situation where 1 will be here, 2 will be here, meaning that 1 source. References are the statement you have coded, meaning that we got 2 statements, but from this 1 person. Look at this one, 2, 2, 1, 1. This one is ethnic interest is 3, 5. Meaning that of these 3 persons, we must have gotten 2 from 2 of them, or 3 from 1 of them. That's what this indicates. So this is how coding is done. To do quickly, to go to being today is our last day. So then after you have finished what you want to do, anytime you want to import, you can, when you right click, export, sorry, when you want to export, just go to export. Anything you want to do, just right click, export. When you say export, you are telling, okay, export. When I say export, I'm asking this, what I have here to be exported out. Export. When I say export, you can see, I want to export it now. It's asking me, where do I export it to? There is for you to select the file you want to export it. Then you can select what format of export do you want. Is it Excel? Is it plain text? Is it Microsoft Word? Is it a PDF or another type of Excel 97 2003? So you can export everything you have here. You can export them in Microsoft Word for your reporting and analysis later. So that even if you are using free trial version, sometimes that lasts for 1 month, before the expiration, you can quickly export everything you have done here before it expires. You just in Microsoft Word. No Nvivo can take it back from you as long as you have taken them out of the software. And if it is live license you have, you can here as long as you have it, as long as you want to have it, and open it anytime you want to open it. You can export. So quickly now, the model. Model is one of the key things in qualitative software can do for us. If you want to do model, I came here, I move from here, I click this one, meaning I want to do another thing entirely. Model. In the Nvivo, latest Nvivo 1314, they call it map. Instead of model, they call it map. They change the name. They say it is mind map because it's like you want to map the minds, the opinion. So online, there are some mind map application that you can use to do your mapping too. They are there, so many of them. So now I want to create a model. Let's say we want to create a model that will show, that will link all the teams with, I give it a name. That's the name of the model I want to create. When I right click on the plain box, it will bring the dialog box. What do I want to do? So then I will say, this is what I want to do. I want to create a new one. So now, having created this, it will automatically open a page. This is a page where you want to create your map. So just like in SPSS, where you select and you now click a pie chart, it will create it for you. Graph, it will create it for you. If it is a table, it will create it. Now I said I want to do a model or map of all the teams. I want to link them together so that I will use that for my introduction when I'm beginning to do my reporting. So you want to add project item. The mapping you want to do, we had project items. The video is being recorded. You can always go back to it and see whatever you want to do. So don't forget, so the moment I click OK, it will bring all the places where I can have documents. So it is in the note. So I click note and I open them. What do I want to do? I want to create teams. I check whatever I want to do. I want to not sub now, but teams. That means the team, sub team, and sub team for the 2 questions or for the 2 teams. This team 1, this team 2. So you check them. Once you check them, you now say, okay, the one you did not check will not create. I didn't check this, so they won't be created. But if I want to create them, all I need to do is check them also. Check them. But if I don't want them to be out, because if you have so many of these, I said if you have like 5 research questions, you're going to have 5 of these. And if you have 5 of these, it will be lengthy. So by the time you now say all these should be included, it will be so it will be too much that very beautiful. So let's say, okay, now you want to know the relationship between the team. You want the team to be linked. So you said relationship. Okay, what do I want to do? Parents, they use this word to make it easier. Children, parents, and relationship. Don't forget parents. If you say of all, simply say it is a team. The team is the research question. It is the team, it is the research question that gave back to the question we have taken to the field. Even in quantitative, our construct is like our research question. So it is the construct that will bring about the variable. The variable will bring about the items in your questionnaire. So same thing in qualitative. The parent is the team. So the two parents here are now the team and sub-team because they were the one that gave back to sub-sub. And you know, sub-sub did not give out to any. It is the sub-sub we are dropping what we are dropping. Nothing was created after sub-sub. So meaning that we have, and that was what I checked. If you notice, I checked team one and all the sub-teams under it. I checked team two and all the sub under it. I didn't check sub-sub. So even if these dialogue boys, if I checked children also, even what I did not check, it will bring them out because I've already checked it at the last point. So now what I told the software to create for me, this is what I asked the software to bring, and it has brought them out. So now having brought them out, you as the researcher, you can make them bolder, appearing bigger and nicer. Then link them because this is team one. As you are dragging, the space will be expanding. So you can say, okay, I want to expand it. You can press control tab, then put the cursor and drag it. Anyone you did not check will not drag. Okay, you can see I didn't check this. Okay, I've checked all of them now. All of them will drag. Okay, this one I didn't check it. Okay, you can see this, and this. Okay, I'm dragging them. If I want to widen them, I can widen them together at the same time so that the content inside can appear very well. That's why I was saying the other time that the words we want to use should not be too lengthy so that the content will appear very well. This one appear very well now. Okay, we have these two. We can decide to widen this also. I want to widen. Okay, I want to widen it so that it will appear well. Okay, so I can now say, okay, the two teams, what link them together? Let's okay, I want to link them together so that the meaning, the pattern we're trying to create can come out. This one can go down a bit, can go down. For me to create space, I can drag it down. Okay, I'm bringing this now. So our main research work, that's our title, can be here as our the thing we want to use to link. Okay, let me bring the title of the work. I want to copy out and just paste so that okay, I can drop them here. Okay, let's assume the title of the work is Perception of Ethnic Group Leaders on Newspaper Role in Conflict Behavior. That's the title of the work, the thesis title, the project title, or the article title. So now we want to link. It is necessary to link them. Under the arrow can be created. If the arrow goes wrong way, the arrow is supposed to point up. You can reverse it, it will go up. Okay, now we want to link this also. Because at the end of the day, what we wanted to do is to link our findings to our topic. Because that's the essence of what we are doing. Whether project, whether thesis, whether paper, article. The essence is to answer the research question, the main topic of the work. And this is the main topic of the work. The research question one, which is we converted to team one, is meant to answer this question. Two also is meant to bring out something about this. So that is what we have created now. You can say, okay, I want it to appear bolder, bigger, just as we do in Microsoft Word. I'm going, if you look at the top left hand corner at the top, I want to click home. At home, I can I can bold this content. I can bold it, just like Microsoft Word. I can increase the font to appear very well. I can say, okay, all these, I want to check them, all these, I want to bold them. So you won't be doing it one by one. Once you check all of them will become bolder and bigger. If the contents are not appearing full in the box, you can widen the box so that all the content will appear fully. And that's why we always say, don't let the content be too lengthy. Just try to reduce them into phrase, 2 words, or 1 word. So you can see I've making them bigger. Then you can use color to separate them. On the home page, we have color. You can see these are the color. Anything you want to do, if you don't understand, just put the cursor there to explain. I put the cursor on it. It said, change the fill color of the selected shapes in a model. Meaning I want to change this color. And since I've checked it, I want to bring color for it. Okay, which color? Okay, let's say we want to pick this color to fit this. What about the shape? I can say, okay, the shape. I want the shape to be thicker. I can say, okay, 4. If you want the arrow to show a rotational arrow, because that is what you are working on, to show a rotational arrow. You want it to be a cycle arrow. Yes, it won't be rotational. You can say, okay, team 1, I want to give it a different color from the other theme. You can say, okay, all the team 1, I'm giving it this color. Okay, the color is fixed. Okay, what about the shapes and the connector? You can check them. Okay, the line here shows the places where you can pick the line. You can make the lines and the shape thicker. But okay, let me give you the color of the paints. I've given it color of my choice. I can say this one, I want it to be another color, so that we use color to separate my team, so that my team will have different color. So I want to use green for this to separate it, so that we'll know that anything green is color, anything green is team 2. Okay, I'm using green. Now I've used color to separate. Anytime you are done with this, before your free trial ends, just control A. I control A now. Everything will be checked. Everything will be checked. Then you can do like this, right click, copy. You copy and take it out. You can drop it. You can drop it anywhere you want to drop it now. Go to Microsoft Word, Control V, it will be pasted. Or you can right click and say export. I want the model to be export. You can export it directly to wherever you want to save it to. Look at it, has come. How do you want to export it? Is it a JPEG? Is it a bitmap? Is it a GIF or SVG? All these are picture variations. You can save it whichever way. You right click. Once you control it, everything will check. Everything. Then you right click, copy, or go to export and save whatever you want to do. Next, let's quickly do, if another model that are usually relevant in qualitative is a sources model. The sources. Who are the sources? The sources who say name calling is one of the way. Name calling is one of, I'm creating the sources now, name calling. Don't forget to do this where you have the model listed. Just right click inside, click new model. Then the dialog box will come up, give it a name, whatever you want to create, so that you have it saved. Anytime you want to go back to it, you can always click and reopen it. Now I want to know the sources who said name calling. It's also okay. You right click. When you right click, you had project item. Don't forget everything. We have them in our notes. Don't forget what you selected, name calling. Okay, this is name calling. You select only name calling, because this is a code where you have indicated people putting this is contributing to conflict. So you check it, seek just relationship, and sources coded. You can see sources coded. Who are the sources? Who said name calling is one of the way that newspaper contribute to conflict? You can see the model is out. I can say, okay, I want to make it bigger. Assuming you have about 20 sources, and this is how you're going to have all of them listed here. So if you have many, you can reduce the size of this so that it will be able to take many other you have. So you can take as many as you want to take. But if there are not many, you can leave it as 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 big as it is, and because sometimes you can have about 15 people that you coded saying name calling is one of the ways that journalists or newspaper contribute to conflict. And this one we are creating, and where do we use it? Whenever we are doing our reports, the first one we did, all teams, this one, all teams model, we can use this one to summarize. Sorry, when we are beginning the analysis, the initial beginning of the analysis or reporting, we can bring this to show a summary of the findings. Because these are the summary of our findings. We have two teams. We have all the two teams. For each team, these are the sub-team we generated. So you use this as a background base for your analysis. Then after you are done with this, you now begin to take the findings one by one. Name calling, for instance, you pick it up, you analyze it. It is at this stage, some scholars say you cannot bring in scholars from literature to corroborate your findings, or to use your finding to dispute what is said, to use your finding to confirm what they said, or use your finding to create a new discussions or a new findings, which will become a contribution to knowledge. So this type of model is used when you are taking the finding one by one for analysis. And this is where you're going to be using the quotations, those codes we are dragging the other time. This is where you now be using them to do your reporting. So this can also be made beautiful as we have in the other one. If it is not big enough, you can make it bigger and bolder. Then when you are done, just Control A, right click, copy, you take it out. You take it out. So you now be saving this, and when you begin your reporting, you will now be using this to support your explanation. Just as we use table for every of our interpretation in quantitative, we use table, we use graph, we use pie chart, and all those things. This one can be used as well for our analysis. If you have many of the sources, this is how they will list across the pages. But because we just use just 4, and we rush over the 4, so we only got 2 people saying name calling. So this is it. There will always be another time, by God's grace, in our continuing training, from time to time. As more members are coming in, we do training. As the old member, we do refresher training, by God's grace, in the new year. So because of time, we need to stop here and allow for questions and answers. Thank you. Thank you, the class.
Much, Dr. Razak Adisa. That's a very soft landing presentation. Really appreciate you. So, now, anyone would like to ask a question under 1 or 2 minutes, will actually raise their hands by now. We only have 2 more minutes left to respond to other concerns on this platform. So Toba, okay, Toba is raising their hand. Please, could you please unmute Toba to ask his question? Toba, you can ask your question.
Okay. Thank you so much for the training. It has been impactful. So my question is, how can we use this Nvivo to? You made mention of using it to do literature review by linking what different sources have said about a particular subject. So
Yes.
I want you to justify that.
Okay, that's a training on its own, and by God's grace, we work it out and do it next year. But simply to answer the question, just as we have, you can see, we imported some material. That's our interview. We imported them, and we are linking. When we open each and we are doing the coding, whatever that is relevant, we highlight it, we drop it on the code we have created. If you want to use it for literature review, mostly literature review, the material we use for literature review come in a PDF. So you import PDF. The moment you import any PDF, no matter how locked, the kind of lock they put on that PDF, it will open it. So once it open it, just as we were doing coding on our interview, the PDF will be imported. Once we have imported all the PDF you have you want to use, and also when you are importing the PDF, you have to import the PDF. You have to use the name of the source, which the way you want to be citing them. For instance, if John Alonge wrote a paper 2022, and you want to use that paper as part of your literature review. So when you want to import them into Nvivo, you will save the paper with John. Maybe you may not use Alonge. If Alonge is on him, just say Alonge 2022. Then save it. Another one, Ade 2021, save it. So by the time you import the material into the Nvivo, anytime you want to use it for literature review, the literature review you want to create, you normally have headings that we want to do, maybe conceptual review. We now say sensational reporting is part of our work. We want to do a literature review on it. We must have created that sensational reporting in our notes. So when you now open the PDF, you are reading any statement you want to use for your literature review. You highlight it, you pick it, you drag it and drop it on sensational reporting. It will be hardening up. 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 And as you are highlighting and dropping them, the automatic citation will be given. So at the end of the day, you just copy and put them in your Microsoft Word. By God's grace, we organize. That's the simple way it goes. But hopefully, by God's grace, we're going to have a time to organize using Nvivo to do literature review. Just as you can use Mendeley to do literature review, HendNote to do literature review. You can also use Nvivo to do literature review. Maybe we organize for training on Mendeley and HendNotes for experts to come and train us. Then we'll organize for Nvivo literature review also. Thank you.
Very much, Dr. Zach. Dr. Alonge John, you may ask your question. Dr. Alonge John, you may go ahead with your question, please. Alonge John. Okay, since Alonge John is not there.
He's talking. Maybe the mic. Have you unmuted yourself, doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, sir. Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the presenter. This is a very good job. I've been looking forward to know more about Nvivo. Actually, I got trained on it sometimes some years ago when I was doing my PhD, and I got the license.
Okay.
After 2 years, it was over. The question I want to ask you, sir, is that I'm highly interested in having the license. Is there any way, apart from going to the, it's very expensive somehow, is there any way to get it maybe in a cheaper or as a community, as a group?
Yes, you can have it. You can have it as a single license for you alone, cheaper. We have a member on this. We have a member of this platform, a Ghanaian. His name is Sami. He has collaboration with some Indians who have a license they sell to people. And if you want to go to the company to buy, one license, permanent license, can go as far as $2,000+. But these people, I don't know how they come about it. They can get it for you, $50, $60, and you have it permanent, but with terms and conditions. but you can have it
Okay.
installed on your laptop,
Okay.
permanent usage at $50-$60. So maybe after our training,
I'm interested.
okay. I'll post this number and the prices, or
Okay.
ask him to post his prices on our platform, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr.
It's all right, sir. It's all right, sir.
Mrs. Ife Evangelist Obim, you may ask under a minute, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Ma.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to appreciate the presenter. That's a wonderful work. This is my first time of joining the training.
Okay.
So my own issue is peculiar somehow, because I would have loved to have the first and second training on this, because I didn't catch from other ones you did. I don't know how I'm going to fit into this one right now. Although I understood this one, but how will I do the others you have done before now?
Okay, were you on last Sunday training?
No, this is my first time. I just joined
okay. The admin will make it available on the platform. The YouTube, you can access it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, the YouTubes are available for the first one, second one, and this one, which will be available. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You didn't actually address his name. Could you please ask your question now?
Good afternoon. I really appreciate the presenter as well for a job well. Sir, I like the last respondent responded that we that the first two lessons, how do you be of help? Then the platform you're talking about, how do we access that platform? How will the admin help us? If there is any other platform where we can be getting our information as at when due, I think
okay.
we
Are you
that.
not on the Accra platform? Are you not a member of the platform?
I am not.
Please send your send your
a friend sent the link to us.
Okay. Admin, please, how can you get in register on the platform?
The WhatsApp
Added
link
on the platform.
on the chat platform. So
okay,
have access to it.
So Techno, please go to the chat box. You will see the link.
So in the absence, thank you very much.
Through which you can join the platform, and you'll be getting regular updates.
So in the absence of no questions or no observation, anybody raising their hands? I think no. So we would like to quickly address other concerns before we call the meeting to an end. About an update of what this association has been able to achieve so far. The acting schools currently, I really appreciate the contributions of the few members of the